Revenge, rivalry, and conflict between two families, and the revenge running in the blood, in the lineage, and in the subsequent generations. And wait, it is not over yet. A boy from one such family and a girl from another family falling in love is not at all a new story for us. This is an old wine in a new bottle, the tried and tested formula. Such love stories developing on the backdrop of rivalry and revenge, getting its seed from the Romeo and Juliet times, many times, millions of times. It has been shown in various movies and web series, not only in Bollywood, not only in Hollywood, but every wood. I always have a doubt. How does a boy and girl from such families always fall in love? Haven't they read these novels? Haven't they seen these movies and web series? They know where their love story is heading to. Not to a safe destination at all. But this concept is always a famous recipe, a concept on which the movie makers bank upon with the never and never stories, maybe with a slight change of treatment to the story. And every time this story happens on the screen, it is a recipe for disaster. Now once again we have the same story, this time in a Malayalam movie. Hi friends, you're watching movie reviews with Raghuram. In this video I'll be reviewing the Malayalam movie PAKA or PAKA, if I am pronouncing it right. In bracket, River of Blood. PAKA is the story of Johnny and Anna, who are in deep love with each other. Their families are in hatred stories. They have conflicts, they have rivalry, they have vengeance, they are bloodthirsty for each other. Each family is having many photos on the wall depicting the head count of the number of people each family has killed from the other family. One head from your family for one head from my family. The couple wants to marry and end this legacy of revenge between the two families. Johnny's uncle had killed Anna's father and was arrested for the same and was in the prison for many years and has been released. Now, how did the love story develop between these two characters in spite of one's uncle killing another's father? This is left out for your imagination. But once Johnny's uncle is released from the jail and comes back to the village, the old flames of revenge once again become brighten and evoke to enormous levels. The revenge between the families, which was buried for a shorter duration, once again surfaces. In this Kayamat se Kayamat Tak type of setup, there is a river, and this is called as the River of Blood. The river is also a dumping ground for both families. They kill a person from the rival family, pack him up in a gunny bag, fill the bag with stones and boulders, and dump that bag with the body in that river. And this river has been a witness for so many murders across both those families. And because of this rivalry, these two families have also created a job. There is an old man in the village who is also a good diver. Once somebody is missing from a particular family, they summon this old man to dive deep into the river and fish out the body with a suspicion that the other family might have killed the person from their family. We can also see the older generations from both the families nurturing the ideas and thoughts of revenge in the minds of the younger generation. For example, in Johnny's house, we can see a granny sleeping on a cot, always sleeping on a cot. Her face is not revealed, but we can hear her voice. She is always seeding the thoughts of revenge and vengeance in the minds of her grandsons. On the other hand, in Anna's house, we can see an old grandpa, blind grandpa, sitting in a chair and seeding thoughts of revenge in the younger generation, in the minds of the younger generations of his family. They know what has happened to their families, but they don't want the saga of revenge to end. But Johnny and Anna are putting sincere efforts to end this saga of vengeance between both the families. Can they or can't they? Forms the remaining story of the movie PAKA. The story of PAKA is not new, not at all new, but in fact the treatment given to this particular story is fresh. The movie has the same heart of Romeo and Juliet or our own Kayamat se Kayamat Tak, but again the treatment is different. The screenplay and storytelling are good and engaging, just because of a fresh type of treatment given to this particular story. Nithin Lukose is the director of the movie PAKA, and Nithin definitely knew what story he is narrating. There are murders taking place in the movie, but we don't get to see the murders. We don't get to see the bloodshed. We don't get to see the gunshots or the slit throats. All we can see is from a pretty long distance. It is left out for our imagination. We can hear the stab sounds, shout sounds, everything, but we don't get to see the kills. So the murders are happening out of focus of the camera, and that is the beauty of the movie. So the director was not trying to glorify the killings or the killings of vengeance. At the same time, the director also did not have any intentions of showing the completed or incompleted love story between the protagonists. He also did not have any intention of showing that the revenge stories or the revenge sagas between the families or the rivalries between the families can be ended, because ending the revenge is not in the attempts made by individuals, but it is in the thought process, it is in the minds, it is in the seeds of the revenge which comes from deep core of our heart and soul. And if these revenge stories need to be ended, it need to be ended at the seed level, at the root level. The movie ends with the birth of a child and has an open ending. Is the birth of a child a signal that there is a fresh ray of hope, a ray of hope that can end vengeance? Or the birth of the child depicts that there is yet another successor to take the legacy of revenge ahead? It is left out for the viewers to decide. We also can see a young boy from one of these families have a look at the photos of the people who were killed from his family, those photos which were hung on the wall, and slowly he takes up the chair of his grandpa. So, the stories of rivalry, the stories of revenge doesn't end in the deeds, but they should end in the thoughts. Coming to the acting departments, Basil Paulose as Johnny has given a good performance. Vinitha Koshy as Anna is not only pretty, but is also good in her role. The cinematography by Shrikant Kaboto is simply brilliant. The music is by Faisal Ahmad, and the music and the background music of the movie is also good and impactful. Especially the background music helps in elevating many scenes and frames of the movie, and also helps in maintaining the tension in some of the frames of the movie. The sound designing of the movie, I should tell, is really impressive. But what I loved the most in the movie is the combination of silence and scare. In most frames and scenes of the movie is just silent. We don't get to see plenty of conversations. We don't get to see many people speaking or screaming or shouting. In spite of the murders happening, there is a dead silence around, and that silence is scary enough. And this combination of silence and scare, and the transition between scare and silence, or silence and scare, has been worked upon to the point of perfection. When there is silence, pin drop silence or dead silence, and when you as a viewer are expecting something intimidating to happen on the screen, that itself is the effectiveness of storytelling and screenplay. If I need to speak about the negative points of the movie is a slow burner. It takes its own time to develop. We don't have reasons and explanations for some things which are happening in the movie. Some aspects have been left out as loose threads for our thought process to ponder upon. Since the story and storytelling has a slow pace, it may not be appealing for everyone. And finally, many people may end up with a question in their minds. Why yet another revenge saga? Aren't we tired enough to show these things in the movies? And why to keep on showing those things in the movies which don't have any solution? But having said that, every story doesn't have a fitting climax, isn't it? And the revenge stories definitely don't. Because the seeds of vengeance, as I already said, are in the thoughts or in the minds. Strongly rooted. And I need to mention, Anurag Kashyap is one of the producers of this movie. The movie PAKA is available on Sony Live, you can watch it there. Though it is a tried and tested story, for the new treatment it has been given and the fresh look this movie has, I'll go with a liberal 7 out of 10 for PAKA. Thanks for watching my video. If you loved my video, kindly like, share and subscribe to my channel. I'll catch up with you all in my next video with yet another movie review. Until then, do take care. Goodbye. Namaste.